Hey, it's Cassie, the naturalistic nurse, and today I'll be talking about my personal experience with COVID-19. And I'll also share some things that help me stay home and social distance even when I'm having a hard time. I work in a large hospital that has over 500 beds located in Los Angeles, California. And California this weekend will have been quarantined for about 2 weeks now. And in the past 2 weeks, I have really felt the pressure and stress from COVID in our hospital and on my unit. And I already work on a heavy unit as it is, but with COVID, it's like, in the past 2 weeks, I've had some of the heaviest nights that I've ever had as a nurse. It's more stress, an increased level of baseline anxiety, and it's not even just you. It's like you can feel it from your coworkers, and you can like see it on people's faces, and you can feel it like so thick in the air. In the past 2 weeks, there have been times where hospitals have seen their number of occupied COVID beds double in not even a day, but in a single 12-hour shift. And it's just been this feeling of like thickness and mounting stress for 2 weeks already, and it's just ramping up. And what it feels like to be a nurse right now is like, it's like you're standing there on the ground under a clear blue sky, and you're watching just this enormous gray smog coming over you, and all you can do is brace yourself and stand your ground. It's been 2 weeks, and this is what it feels like. And I know a few weeks of quarantine is already hard as it is. And even the thought of having to do it maybe a couple months longer is like, but here's why you have to stay home, and probably longer than you're gonna want to. Because there's a big lag from the wave that we feel in the hospital to the numbers of cases and deaths that you see at home. The numbers that you see today now are people that got sick a week or two ago. And if they got sick a week or two ago, then they probably contracted the virus 1 to 2 weeks before that. So you staying home now today is the only thing that's gonna save us a month from now. And hospitals are already low on supplies and gowns and masks and things that are really needed to take care of these patients safely. In quarantine and social distancing, and I mean for real social distancing, are the only thing that will slow this huge wave down enough for us to have a chance at keeping up. And believe me, staying home in quarantine is hard for me too. It's like I spend 12 hours at a time in this really high stress environment, and after that, the only thing I can do is come home, be alone, and not get to do a lot of things that usually provide me stress relief or decompression from work. And what's wild is that as the death toll rises and we start to hear about thousands or tens of thousands of deaths, the greater that number gets, the less relatable it is. And the bigger that number is, the more meaning it loses. And it's sad, but it gets hard to care when you can't relate. So what I've found helps the most when you start to feel like you don't care anymore, or it's just not tangible enough, it's not affecting you, is to keep the experience as grounded and real and as close to home as possible. You might not feel like you're doing any harm, especially to people that you know. But for every single person that you don't keep your social distance from, you're putting someone that they love at risk. And not just at risk for getting sick, but at risk for getting really sick and maybe even dying. And that's important because the person that you chose to just be a couple feet away from in the grocery store might live with an elderly parent, or have a newborn at home. Or they might have a roommate that is actually young and pretty healthy, but was born with a congenital defect. You don't know. And you might want to go over to your friend's house because, as far as you know, they live alone and they're not going out to see anyone. But they're still going to the grocery too. And you might not be seeing your mom or dad at this time, but by some off chance, they might see theirs. And that's why it's so important to keep the experience real. Because it can get really close to home faster than you can imagine. Another really important reminder about this is that it's not forever. And not even in a way that's like the bright side of things. That's actually a reality too. It's just that the longer that we do this, the longer that we quarantine and keep social distance, like real social distance, the sooner we can go back to the lives that we choose. Thanks so much for hearing my experience, and I hope some of this resonated. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And you can visit the rest of my blog at thenaturalisticnurse.com, where I share about my own personal health journey with severe eczema and topical steroid withdrawal, as well as work that I do as a sound healer in the Los Angeles area. And during this time especially, you can follow me on Instagram at thenatnurse, where I'll be posting more to keep you informed, entertained, connected in a really conscious and mindful way. Till next time.